Take two. What up, y'all?
Hey everybody, it's Crystal Johnson here with the AJ team.
Alan Johnson with the AJ team here. And what we going to talk about today?
I think we're going to do AJ's market update, right?
Market update. So
Yeah.
it's half in a year. You guys know that? Like year is like halfway over.
Yep.
Right. So what everyone said was going to happen in the real estate market didn't actually happen in the real estate market. You look at Zillow, you look at Redfin, you look at NAR, you look at like all of these major like prognosticators all predicted a couple things.
Yep.
They predicted interest rates were going to drop.
Yep.
Did they drop?
They did not. So there has been a lot of revisions made, right? So interest rates did not drop.
They said values were going to continue to go up. Have right? Ask any seller in the DMV if they feel like they got more than what their neighbor got 2 years ago. No.
Yeah, yeah. But to be fair though, in our market, we have seen values hold steady.
Steady.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first thing is prices are pulling back, but they are not crashing. Right. And when we talk about the real estate market, first of all, you can either look at the like national market, you can look at the local market, and then you can look at the hyper local market. And I think that last thing is the most important. What is going on in your hyper local market? And that means street to street, neighborhood to neighborhood. What might be happening on the east side of Prince William County with the single family house may be very different than what's happening on the west side of Prince William County with the single family home. So every sub market is reacting differently.
Yeah, and that includes the asset class. So, what's happening with the condo market is very different than what's happening with the single family homes and townhomes and etc. So, you got to think about the asset class as well.
Yep, yep. Second is sellers are required to do more, right, to get your home ready for the market. So if you're a seller, right, you have to prepare yourself for the market. So what are a couple things that sellers have to do to be ready in this market?
Yeah, I think that what a seller needs to be doing is making sure that all of that, delayed improvements that you should have made as a regular just maintenance on your house, you got to get that maintenance done. So if you have not gotten your HVAC system, just when they go in there and they clean it, can't think right now, service.
Yeah.
You should do that. If you have not done a great job with keeping up with your landscaping, you should do that. If you have some other just maintenance things around the house, just the caulking, the painting, those little things, you need to do those things to present your home in this best light. And then also you need to be prepared to negotiate. So you're going to be negotiating home inspection items. That's why you want to make sure those things are working properly and they're in good shape. So you just need to be best prepared to enter a market because it's the days of putting a sign in the yard and getting countless offers. That's not the market that we're in.
Yeah. A couple other things. Make sure you're prepared for closing costs.
Yep.
So a lot of sellers realize they're looking at an interest rate that's much higher than they thought it was going to be. So these sellers need the closing costs to perhaps buy down a rate, perhaps save some money. Those things are very important. So don't feel like sketched out as a seller if you see an offer coming in asking for closing costs. And the crazy thing is we had a house that was listed at like, over $1 million where we had a couple of buyers that were asking for closing costs. Right. Um, and then the last thing for sellers, I'm gonna let you guys know this is like your colors matter, your type of flooring matters. If you have mismatch colors, mismatch flooring, make sure that you really put the time into thinking about what you need to do prior to you thinking about putting your home on the market. And that starts months ahead of time because our contractors are backed up, right? Because in our area, there's a lot less labor available. Do you guys know why labor's not as available? It's a three-letter word, ICE, right? So remember, all these people that were on these construction sites, all these people that were in these homes doing that work, there's a significant portion of them that are no longer here, right? Or scared to come out and work or had to reconfigure what they were doing. So that is putting a lot of pressure on the labor force. And if you don't believe me, go talk to new build communities, go talk to construction managers and see how they're being affected.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the opportunities for buyers that you see out there?
Yeah, I think for right now, what we're finding is that inventory has increased considerably year over year. So you have more options. So now there are more availability of properties to go take a look at, to tour, to see which one may be the best fit for you. That's one of the opportunities you have. The second one is that you have an opportunity to now negotiate home inspections, right? You have the opportunity to negotiate closing cost assistance or seller subsidy. So there's great opportunities for that, but you should certainly be thinking about how you can take advantage of those.
Yeah. Stale listings.
Mhm.
So buyers never even like notice stale listings because things were flying off the market. But if you see a home that's been on the market for, let's say, 45 plus days, right? That's a property where the seller may not be desperate, but you got their full attention if you want to make an offer, right? New construction. We just left you just left a
I
new
did.
construction community. And I'm getting calls from new construction sales managers all the time about homes that are backing out, or special incentives around financing, or closing costs that they said was going to end. Like case in point, Courts District. They said originally that the first, I believe, 20 homes they were going to give like over 20,000 in closing costs. Well, they're at 100 homes, and everyone's gotten the same amount of closing costs, and they haven't raised the prices, right? And that's one of the hottest communities in Woodbridge, right? So you're not going to steal a home from a builder, but you certainly can position yourself to get a really good deal on a home for a builder. And then last but not least, assumables.
Yeah.
Right. So if you are a VA purchaser, right, if you have VA eligibility, you have a house that you purchased and you have equity in, and you want to sell that and move it to another asset, something bigger, this is the perfect market for you. Right. We had a couple of listings over the past like 4 or 5 months where the buyers got a great deal because our sellers had a loan that was sub 4%. Right. And they were able to bring the difference between what the seller wanted and what the loan amount was, and they were able to absorb a loan that, I mean, like I think over the life of the loan they say like more than what the property was worth. Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a great opportunity for buyers. So buyers, you're thinking about getting into the market and you want to find out more about these opportunities, give us a call.
Yeah, yeah. So a couple other things. If you got a good product in Northern Virginia, the buyers are still strong.
Yeah.
Right? But you got to have a really quality product. Number two, inventory is up by 8% throughout the DMV. So there are 8% more homes on the market now than there were this time last year. I expect that to double again. I expect that when we had this this update in 2 to 3 months, that it likely will be close to 15% up in inventory.
Mhm.
And then the things that you got to watch out for, guys, that really like you can't put your head in the sand about. Rates are affected by gas prices, inflation, employment, and war. Like none of that stuff is good for business, right? None of that stuff is good for the housing market. So as long as those things are going on, you have to be extremely hyper aware. And even beyond some of those things ending, it will have a lingering effect on our real estate market.
Yep, that's right. So, Alan, what do you do?
You need to call us, right? I think that's first and foremost. I know you guys have a lot of questions about what's going on. Your plan needs to start way earlier than you think it does. And then, if you know anybody else who just needs an intelligent conversation, your people are our people, and you can always refer us to people, no matter where they are in the country. We can help them just think through how to make smart real estate decisions.
All right.
All right.
All right. So, if you have a dream,
You have the address.
see you soon.
See you soon, guys.
I was feeling like, I don't know, yeah, I'm off my leg or something. I was feeling like,
Go ahead.